Good morning and welcome to Coffee Break Extra on Genuine Country 1400 AM. Today's program is being brought to you by ED Board Company, Ewald Jewelers on Main, Woodman of the World, State Farm Agent Mark Hannick, and MCTC Licking Valley Center. Right now we have 38 degrees and rainfall in downtown Cynthiana. With that, we'll say good morning to our mayor of Cynthiana as well as talk show host extraordinaire, James Smith.
I don't know about that extraordinaire part, Terry, but good morning. How are you?
Well, you show up every day to work. That's a plus, right?
Well, yeah, I guess so.
I am well. You doing all right?
I'm doing fine. Yes.
You ready for the snowfall?
I am. Better than what we're getting now, I think.
I would take snow over rain. I actually would. So
yeah.
I don't know. Something
about
that.
Too much of it.
Worried about that flooding aspect too. Yeah. Have you heard anything much around the county about flooding?
Well, we're gonna be talking about with two experts here today. So,
experts.
Yeah, well,
all right.
Well, they're laughing. I must be using that term loosely, but we'll see. I got Kevin Florence from the State Highway Department, and ReJeana Craft, the Chief of Search and Rescue and Deputy Director of Emergency Management. So we're gonna talk about disasters, emergency, roads. Who knows where we'll get today. Good morning, Kevin. How are you?
Good morning, Mayor. How are you?
I'm doing great. And ReJeana Craft. Good morning.
Good morning.
So welcome to today's show. We're kind of being hit with a double whammy of weather conditions over the next 24 to 48 hours.
Most definitely.
Yeah, and you all get up to date weather. So can you tell our listeners, well, what's coming? Either one of you, just jump in there and
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well,
he says. Well, what we have coming today is a little rain mixed with some sleet, and that will be up till about 2 o'clock. And then after that, the rain's going to turn to snow, and we'll have snow and sleet throughout the night, and then with possibly an inch today. And then tomorrow will be our big day with a heavy snow.
Okay.
Possibly 8 inches tomorrow.
Possibly 8 inches, which is getting close to what we had 2 weeks ago, which seems to just be now being disappearing.
Yeah.
So,
That's well, and the reason why I said go ahead, I'm old-fashioned. I wait till I sit and then we work with it. Simple fact, you watch. I do watch radars and all that, but. Look how often they change it from one area to the next. So I kind of...
And look how often they're wrong.
Exactly.
So,
but I don't run to Walmart all at once. I just wait, watch it, work with it.
Right. Well, when it's raining like this, there's not a whole lot you can be doing to prepare for it changing over to snow. I mean, you can't pre-treat the roads, right?
No, actually, all I'm doing right now, I've got the crews out that they're running all their snow routes, just checking high waters, cutting bleeders. For those who don't know what a bleeder is, that's just cutting a little ditch way to the ditch to get water off the road before it starts freezing.
Okay. So you guys are out. You're dealing with the flooding. We were talking before the show. You have 25 years of experience with roads between your state experience and your county experience. So, a lot of folks that we have on the city, 2 weeks ago, that was their biggest snow that they had to deal with. But you've been around and you've seen snows like that before.
Been through a few.
And you've been through some flooding, too.
Yes.
And you remember the 97 flood.
Flood of 97.
Now, there's no chance that we're going to see those levels of water, right?
I wouldn't go there. Who knows? Flood, I guess what I remember the worst dealing with was probably the flood of 97.
Right.
I remember the winter of 78, 79, but I wasn't working in it. I was playing in it, so a little bit of difference there.
Right.
But, flood of 97 is probably the worst I've dealt with.
Right. Well, I've heard nothing but accolades for the work that the state road workers have done in the big snowfall that we got a couple of weeks ago, which was the biggest single snowfall in several years, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. It seems to me like I remember way worse than that. But, when you're out there working in it, a lot of stuff comes into play from temperatures to, road temps play a big part in it. Like this in here. Today, just before I came in, the road temp was 44 degrees. Air temp was 38 degrees. Road temp's got to come down quite a bit before it causes us problems. But it can happen pretty quick, too. Flash freezing or rapid freeze. you know, it's all kind of a hurry up and wait process.
Right. Yeah, there's not a lot you can do until it actually is on the ground. And even, a half an inch to an inch. Will you all be out shoveling that, or will you wait? I mean, what's the process you go through when you decide when to send the crews out?
What I do is I've got an assistant, David Manier, does a good job for me. He runs my night crew now. I got away from it and went to the day crew. We run usually 16-hour shifts. I come in this morning at 7. All of us come in at 7, our normal day. But now I will stay till almost midnight tonight, and then he will bring his midnight crew in, and they'll work all day tomorrow up to 4 o'clock, 3:30. So that's kind of how we manage things. As far as what we do is just keep eye on the road. If you see the snow starting to stick from the edge in, it gives me an idea we need to probably start running.
Right.
Just little things like that. Do we get behind? Most definitely, because you ain't going to control the weather.
Right.
We work with it, but we try to stay on top of it. And back to state getting a lot of praise, I guess, and everything. County and city's done a good job, too. Number one, probably lots of times, you might get a complaint every now and then, well, this street ain't what it should be or whatever. You never know what the case is, though. Last year, US 62 got away from me. We ran it. I got a lot of calls saying we hadn't been on it, but we ran it. We ran it constantly. That's a priority A route.
Right.
But the problem was we just put a new blade on that truck, new cutting edge. And until it's run on bare pavement, you ain't got that edge to cut ice. So it really put us in a mess for a while, but we finally gained control of it, took it back over.
Now, how many miles of roads do you take care of?
We have got a state highway. We got 175 miles. It's single lane miles. So you double that.
Okay.
Of course, because of a highway, been 2 lanes. And actually, it's a little under because take US 27, for example, you got truck lanes and stuff. It's not added in there.
Right.
But just around about 175 single lane miles.
Okay. And how many trucks do you have and men do you have to take care of those?
I've got 5 of our Kentucky transportation trucks, which is regular sized dump trucks. Then I've got a little single axle 1-ton dump truck that we use kind of around town. I've got 2 contract trucks, which is rock trucking. They're out of Clay City area.
Okay.
And then that's it on the equipment other than our loaders and stuff. I've got 12 men, counting myself, that is state highway employees. And then I've also got 3 more highway employees that are a sign crew in the summertime, but they help me in the winter. So a total is 15 state highway crew members and 2 contract trucks.
Okay.
And it sometimes it takes every one of us to.
Well, I bet it does, especially when the snow's coming down. You plow it once, and by the time you get to the end of that road, you look back, and you may not even be able to tell, that you've done anything, but you have.
Yeah, that's what kind of gets the drivers, You get some people say, well, I ain't saw a truck through here all day. Well, we can't sit in front of a house all day.
Right.
We got a road. That one truck might be running, his route it's probably 30 to 40 miles long.
Right.
So, it takes a little bit.
Yes.
Our highway system works as a priority system, priority A, B, and C. Your priority A, for example, is US 62, US 27. That's saying that we pretty much continuously try to monitor them, even though at times it don't look like it, we're there. And then your B's, we have to be on within a couple hours. And then your C's is like 4 hours. But unless it really, really got bad, we try to run everything. We've got our route set up, and we run everything as we run.
Right. A's,
B's, and C's.
Okay. And what's an example of a B and a C route?
B route is like a 32 west,
okay.
36 west, 353, which is Russell Cave.
Right.
And the reason for that is, a lot of people say, well, I pay the same taxes as out here, say, Beaver Baptist, as they do on US 27. But what you got to think about is if we need an ambulance or emergency crew out there, let's at least get them as far as we can, as quick as we can, because, say, Beaver is 3 miles long. You got a lot of good farmers out there. They're going to get a person to the main road if we can't get to them.
Right.
So that's kind of why for the priorities.
Right. And I've been telling people, as mayor now and working with our Commissioner of Public Works, don't park on Pike Street or Main Street when you know that there's going to be a snow coming, because if there's vehicles there, you can't plow to the curb, can you?
And I know that you all have caught a lot of people not happy with the way it's looked on Pike and Main. Like you say, if there's what we do, we try to push over to the curb. People get mad because they've shoveled their sidewalks. We kick a little over. That can't be helped. If the road ain't clean, your sidewalk ain't going to do you a bit of good, and your driveway ain't going to do a bit of good.
Right.
We try to slow down, but sometimes depending on the weight of the snow, depends on how we've got to run. Working in and out of these cars on Pike and Main, it's a dangerous job. Number one, you take a chance of wiping out somebody's vehicle.
Right.
Yes, if they could, try, if they know it's going to snow big, and I know they're limited on parking.
Right.
But if you can park off the street, it would really help.
Well, amazingly enough, I didn't get a lot of complaints during the snow, and I think most people really do appreciate the job that you guys and the county and the city public works folks do with a small budget and small personnel, considering the size of the work that you do. So I think people appreciate it. But, it did begin to affect some businesses and stuff with the snow piled up. But
it's going to.
I gave you a call, and you said, hey, I'll help out however I can. And we came up with a plan, and I think people on Pike Street should be happy today. We got some of that stuff out.
That's something that's changed. And from what I've seen since I've started with county and state and everything, to me, the county, the city, and the state didn't have the best working relations. Now, I'm going to say we've got excellent working relations. Gary Royalty, all that crew there, we work good together. If they need something, if I can help them, I will, and they're the same with me. James McCarty, James Eubank, supervisors at the county, we get along great. We share equipment if we need to. My loader was just down in this last snowfall. I use the counties.
Right. Summertime,
they use mine. We work together. That's what it's all about.
Now, do you work with the lady that's sitting right next to you?
Unfortunately, I did not. Yes, as of right now, I'm assistant chief for search and rescue and deputy for emergency management. But I don't want to take nothing away from her because she has done it all, to be honest with you. She's been there. I'm working at state. I'm busy there. She's busy, and she's really busy there.
He must want something.
Done a great job. No, I don't need nothing, believe me. But she's done a good job, and we have got a good crew with search and rescue, too. Excellent people to work with.
Well, I heard you all talking before we came on air, and your fine rate at search and rescue is 100%, right?
Mm-hmm.
You find them all.
Yep. With a little help. We have a little help from the police department, the fire department, and, it's public, but we find them.
Well, I think what Kevin talked about there, working together, is it's time for that. We are all in this together. It doesn't matter if a road is a state road or a county road or a city road. If we have citizens that pay taxes and they need to get across it, then it's all of our problems. Right?
Well, it's no longer all about me. It's all about us.
Right.
And just like with search and rescue, city fire, county fire, EMTs,
county
police,
road,
sheriff,
state road.
We all work together. It's part of it.
Right.
So,
well, we've made it to our first break here on Coffee Break Extra. We'll be back in just a few minutes with ReJeana Craft and Kevin Florence.
Coffee Break Extra continues now on Genuine Country 1400.
Welcome back to Coffee Break Extra. I'm your host, James Smith. Before we get back to our guests today, I do want to make our listeners aware that we have a company here in Cynthiana that's looking to hire some folks. So if you or someone you know is looking for a job, consider working at E.D. Bullard Company, a local company whose corporate headquarters is here, along with their manufacturing facility. They offer competitive pay with profit sharing, benefits including a 401k with company match, tuition reimbursement, and great colleagues. You can find out more about the company by visiting their website at www.bullard.com. They currently have openings in the following areas. They have sewing positions. They have flexible employment positions. They have a maintenance position, a purchasing manager, and their marketing department is hiring a product marketing manager and a product manager in respiratory protection. In the engineering area, they're also looking for a mechanical product development engineer, an industrial designer, and a CAD designer. If you're interested in any of these positions, you can stop by their facility at 1898 Safety Way in Cynthiana or visit their website at www.bullard.com. We're here in the studios on Main Street with Kevin Florence, State Highway Department, and ReJeana Craft, our Chief of Search and Rescue, Deputy Director of Emergency Management on the Airport Board and Board of Adjustments, and I'm sure there's some other things she's involved in as well. But back to Kevin Florence. There was one more thing that you wanted to share with our listeners.
Yes. It would help tremendously. I've actually had city police to help me out with this, but when you're cleaning your parking lots, cleaning your driveways, we're not coming through trying to shove it back just to make you mad at us. If we don't get our streets clean and then it starts to melt, it runs back across, it freezes the next night, we have no one at the shop, someone wrecks, gets killed. I don't think we need that. If you can push your snow, keep it in your lot, find you a place to pile it, it would help us tremendously. Same way with your driveways. Shovel it to the right of your driveway on the state highways, and that would help you a lot. Don't push it across the road. That's going to get you into a liability if someone does wreck.
Right.
And last but not least, for those that might want to know, we went through 1,736 tons of salt since November. 26 days of running. So kind of narrows it down. We're ready to look at the sunshine now.
You're ready to wrap the winter up, right, and put it in the books. How does this compare with past winters? I know last winter was bad, but
I didn't get, and I probably should have. I didn't get any of the I've got the totals and stuff, but it seems like every winter we've had a couple there is kind of light,
right?
But for the most of it, it seems like it runs
about
close.
The same.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, let's move on to ReJeana Craft. ReJeana, welcome to Coffee Break. You haven't been able to talk much because Kevin's been hogging the mic.
Yeah, when he's in the room, you don't get to say much.
Well, Deputy Director of Emergency Management, I think that's the hat right now that the community is looking at you for. You got some information about some flooding. That's the first emergency facing us, right?
I work under Mike Palmer, who is head of emergency management, and he's on conference calls 2, sometimes 3 times a day, just getting updates, trying to get a handle on what's going to happen. Currently, what we're seeing right now is the river level is at 12.77, and we're expecting it to go to 21.6. Now, at 21.6, you're not going to see a whole lot of water out there. It might sneak up on Elm Street. We'll have water at the intersections of Popular Street and Mill Street. Of course, River Road, ballpark's there, but you're not going to see it up in the houses or anything like that. What you have to keep in mind that in 1997, we had our river level was 28.53. So we're not going to get any higher than we was in 2011, and that was 21.98. So we're going to hit right close to that. So you're not going to see a whole lot, And I do want to mention, we're already getting phone calls, people wanting to know if we're going to evacuate them.
Right.
If we have to come down and evacuate, we're going to knock on your door and give you a warning. It's going to be a door-to-door thing. We've done that several times with search and rescue. We do that for the fire department, and they have so much to do. They don't have time to go down and knock on doors. So we go down and knock on doors and warn people that the river's coming up. They don't always listen to us, but at least we give them a warning.
It's like watching TV when a hurricane's coming and you'll see somebody out there
Yeah.
I'm just going to ride it out. And then
I wasn't sure it was coming,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were getting calls in the mayor's office yesterday. People, on Poplar Street. I heard you were closing Poplar Street and evacuating everybody. It's like,
Right.
No, not yet. But rumors can start and just roll.
And we're really close. We're going to be at 21.6, and I think that's at 7 p.m. on Friday. Is that March the 5th, Friday? Yeah, I think so. And that's when it's going to crest. Popular Street gets closed at 22 feet. We're going to be close, but
Right.
I don't think, we're going to be closing that street.
Okay.
But you never know. Depends on how much rain we get and how fast the snow melts. And
River Road, will that be one that?
River Road will be closed. It's yeah, it'll be closed.
We've already got barricades over there.
Yeah.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of our first ones to go.
Never fails.
Yeah. Okay. Emergency Operations Center. You were busy for the last 2 weeks. You want to tell the listeners a little bit about what you've been doing?
Well, actually, the last 2 weeks we've just moved our Emergency Operations Center. The county has given us the county clerk's office.
Right.
One half of it, and we've been trying to move everything out there, trying to get it set up. We have 4 offices on our side, and that's emergency management, the local emergency planning, local emergency planning committee. I knew I'd get that. Red Cross and Search and Rescue, and we're trying to get that set up, and then get the EOC set up too. And I know a lot of people don't know what the EOC stands for, so I'd like to explain a little bit what that means.
Go ahead.
It is the Emergency Operations Center, and we use it for disasters. Whenever there's a tornado or a flood or pending weather like this, natural disasters or man-made disasters such as chemical spills and, things along that line, we open up this center, and that's where all your potential government agencies come together. The mayor will be there, the county judge will be there, police chief, fire chief, all of your head chiefs from all your organizations will meet in this one location, and they will get a game plan together as to what needs to be done and where it needs to be done. And they stay there until it's over.
Right.
That kind of helps get everybody on the same page, and not everybody's out doing their own thing,
Right.
not knowing if somebody else has already done it. So
Right.
That's kind of what that area is for, and if we see a flood, it will be activated and ready to go. Palmer will be there 24 hours tonight. He was there first thing this morning, and he'll sleep there tonight just to make sure that he's on call if something happens.
So you have beds there?
No. We have Army cots.
Oh, okay.
The last 2 weeks, of course, I worked with Gail Vallat. She's over our Red Cross here in Harrison County. And when the temperatures drop below freezing, we like to open up a shelter.
Okay.
And
we gave y'all's number out several times here on air.
Right.
And you had some people take advantage of
We had
that.
up to 6 people there at one time. Most of them do not have homes in Harrison County, and we're just seeking shelter out of the snow and the temperatures.
Right. And you don't think in Harrison County that we have that big of a population of homeless folks that
Right.
don't have somewhere to go. Were these people living in their cars or?
We had a couple living in a car. We had several that were just staying wherever they could stay, different people's houses. We had one gentleman that was living under a bridge here in town. You just don't realize that there's people out there in Harrison County, and we're a small community. You would think that we would notice these people,
Right.
but I guess you don't see them every day. You're not out at night. We're at home in our beds. We don't go looking under a bridge to see if there's somebody there.
Right.
So we try to open up a shelter and at least give them 3 meals a day and a warm cot to sleep on, although them cots are so uncomfortable. So
Now, I do know, because I followed what you guys were doing during the latest snow and the bad weather, and it got down to negative 22. I mean, it was really, really cold. So, we appreciate you guys and all that you do to take care of the folks that don't have a place to go. But you need volunteers as well. I mean, the reason you all had to stay there for 2 weeks straight was...
we had, I think we had 4 volunteers that came in and spent the night just to give. One of us had to be there at all time, but they came in and take the place of the other person,
Right.
which gave us a chance to go home. Gail has a granddaughter at home, so she needed to go home and spend time with her. Me, I just have a husband and a dog. So they kind of take care of themselves anyway. But Yeah, you could use volunteers for things like that. You know, and as far as the community goes, the churches and the people and the restaurants here in town, they were tremendously helpful with bringing in food and donations. And, I mean, it's a great turnout of people that want to help.
Right.
But not very many people want to spend the night.
Of course.
I'm glad to hear you say just a husband and a dog. Bobby Kraft, if you're listening, she put you first, at least.
Above the dog.
Well, Eli's listening too now. Come on.
Well, so when the temperature drops below freezing, you all open up the warming shelter for
Right.
folks. And if there's people out there listening, especially churches that would like to provide food, is there a way to contact the shelter to see if you need anything?
When we open up the shelter, it's best to call me or Gail. Gail, I'm going to give your phone number out, Gail. It's 588 and then mine is 588-954. No, we have that posted on Facebook. We have it posted on the radios. Everywhere we can post it so that people know they can call us. You know, if all else fails, we'll be at the EOC. You can look up emergency management in the phone book and call us there.
Okay. So if there's a church out there looking for some way to help, meals, food, you all appreciate all that. And you especially appreciate volunteers to come down and spend the night and serve. So a great way to serve. One of the things that I like to tell people is, you know, when we have an emergency, when there's snow, take care of one another.
Right.
You know,
Check on your neighbors.
Check on your neighbors.
Watch
if you
your
have
pets.
an elderly neighbor, shovel their
Right.
snow. You don't have to be asked. Just go shovel your neighbor's snow. You know, get their car out of the driveway. If you are capable of doing that and you know your neighbor can't, you know, together we can get through just about anything.
Yep, I agree.
All right. Emergency Operations Center, which is fairly new, out at the old county clerk's office.
Yeah, we've always had one. It was at the jailer's office here in town, and it moved to the courthouse. And then when the courthouse was renovating, it was in a little trailer in front of the sheriff's department. That was kind of tiny, but now we're out there, and we have plenty of room, and we'll have our meetings and stuff out there and training, and it's really a nice building. You got to come out and see it.
Search and rescue too. Now that's something that you do when needed.
Right.
How do people, you know, if they need your services there, is it just a 911 call or call
911
dispatch?
call.
And they
Matter of fact, during the winter storm that we just had, we had 2 searches. And you just call 911. They always dispatch the police department first to determine what kind of situation it is. You know, if it's a runaway, we don't usually do runaways. But in those kind of conditions, you know, we will go out and help try to get them home. But, yeah, you just call 911, and they handle it all for us.
Okay.
And they call me, and we go out and do our thing.
Right. Another example of the community working together and the departments working together.
Well, I mean, the one search that we had during the winter storm, you know, is actually Officer Jeff Thomas that found this gentleman. You know, and we really appreciate the help that everybody gave. I sent out pictures to the police department, had it. They gave it to me. I sent it out to county road department. I sent it out to state road department because they were on all the roads.
Right.
So they were able to keep an eye out too. So when we have a search, it's everybody, not just
Right.
search and rescue. It's everybody, and it's teamwork.
Right. Teamwork. That's what we're talking about here on Coffee Break Extra today. We're also talking about the impending weather and how to prepare for that. We're taking a break here on Coffee Break Extra. We'll be right back.
Coffee Break Extra is streaming live online right now at WCYN.com.
Welcome back to Coffee Break Extra. I'm James Smith. We're here at WCYN, downtown Cynthiana. Looking outside, it's raining, and more rain to come. Latest forecasts,
Latest
ReJeana.
forecast, we're going to have
Rain.
Rain to
sleet,
snow.
You know, hey, guess what? We're getting ready to hit tornado season.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, we're going to...
And that's what concerned me on this, where it's going to be, it's so warm,
Right.
and then the next thing you know, it's going to be frigid.
I think
Right.
the highest the winds are supposed to be those 12 miles an hour.
That's
so
good. I'll take that.
that might help a little bit.
Right.
You know, I do want to touch base a little bit on, if you don't mind, how to prepare for things like this.
Go ahead.
You know, running to Walmart at the last minute, don't always do it. Walmart shelves were empty. You know,
Actually, it hurts because someone really needs something. It might be sold out just because everyone panicked.
Right.
And water lines were busting.
Right. Well, we had one out there on Oddville Avenue that was 14 feet deep.
Yes.
Gary Royalty was telling me. 14 feet deep.
They had a nice hole out there.
Yes. They said it was just luck that they dug right in the spot
Thank
that
goodness
it was.
it's where it was, yes.
Right.
That's better than being across the road at the end of that bridge. Then we got problems.
Right.
You know.
Right. Kevin, you want to say something about the city?
Just like I want to say that the city, I think they do a fantastic job with what they got. County, just like us, we have breakdowns. County has breakdowns. City has breakdowns, and it ain't something that we can prevent. It just happens. We have trucks that get turned over. You know, that's the first thing I talk to my crew about is, number one, it's going to happen. We're going to turn a truck over. You might be the driver. Good chance you will be. So when your road is not cleaned or street's not cleaned or county road, usually it ain't just because we don't want to go out there. It's because something has happened.
Right.
Heard a lot about the city riding around with their plows up. Who knows? There might be a reason why it plows up. Something's broke. You can't operate it. We've been there. I hate it. It makes you look bad, but that's part of it. Stuff breaks. But city, county, my state crew, I've got an excellent state crew. Them boys, they do excellent. They do a good job. Same with city and county. Them boys ain't there for their health. They're there to help the public and do their job and make it the best we can.
Well, we only have, as far as the city, we only have 6 public works workers and 3 trucks.
There you go.
And they're great guys. They were out here at 5 a.m. in the pouring rain on Pike Street, shoveling ice, snow, breaking it up, carrying it away to serve the citizens.
Yes.
Not just the businesses down there, but the citizens that may come down and need to go to one of those businesses.
Well, and that's the thing. I've got pictures. I'm a picture fanatic, and I've got pictures of the city many a time laying in a 4-foot to 6-foot deep hole, laying around the water line in a wetsuit.
Yes.
I'm talking about frigid temperatures, soaked. You know, I guarantee they'd just soon be sitting in their office or living room or wherever. But and I know that's their job. That's what they got to do. But give them some credit.
Well, some people don't realize that some of those leaks they have to repair.
It's got to be
with
done
the water on, because the shut off. Who knows where it is? It was put in 100 years ago or whenever.
Well, and that's the thing. If they're not out there doing that, you don't get water. What's the first thing we do?
Right.
I ain't got no water. I ain't got no electric. Hey, I appreciate everything electric company, water. I mean, them's necessities. That's what we lack. That's what we want.
Right. Well, I agree with you. I mean, from what I've seen, city workers, county workers, and the state did an excellent job 2 weeks ago. And, I feel like we're in good hands with the impending weather as well. Even if we get, 10 inches. And I saw one forecast yesterday, 18 inches. But, there was one little spot right over Harrison County. It said 18 inches. But
I won't throw Michael Palmer under the bus or anything, but he says he's thinking, 6 to 8.
6 to 8?
Well,
we should start a pool.
That's
kind of
what I
there
was
you go,
What I looked at this morning, I think will be more along the line of 8.
Yeah.
I think he's probably right. And the thing is, like I say, ground temps are warm.
Right.
A lot of the hits for a while is going to melt on its own. But then, once your temperatures drop, we're going to have a few problems.
I do want to mention, we were talking earlier about missing persons and calling 911. If you have a bad street or you're wanting to complain about the weather or anything like that, it's not 911.
Right.
It's if you want to call dispatch, you call them at 234-7100, but don't call 911. That's not an emergency, and we don't need to be hounding them over city and county roads.
Right.
So.
Because you guys will get to them, right, Kevin, when you get to them. And it's not like you're you're sitting back, drinking a coffee, hot chocolate.
We are there
when the
start
snow's
to
coming
finish.
down. You guys are out,
That's right.
spreading salt, pushing the snow out of the way. And unfortunately, there's only one place you can push it, to the
That's
right.
It's got to go to the right, and like you say, you might see my trucks or the county or city going into their lot. It don't mean they're going in to kick back. They're probably going in to reload, fix a tire, fix a truck.
Right.
There's a reason behind it all. I know for the state, I do know we are there around the clock.
Right.
If we're late getting in, it's just because the weather kind of snuck up on us, but we guaranteed as soon as the first phone rings, we're going to be there.
Now with the flooding coming up, we'll switch gears from snow to flooding. There's probably going to be roads, county roads, state roads that, if there's a lot of rain really quickly, they could be underwater.
Yep.
It seems kind of intuitive not to drive through standing water, but
Exactly. The whole key is anytime, I don't understand this, and I guess maybe because I deal with the weather a lot, but slow down.
right.
If you got to leave home earlier 15 minutes or something, slow down.
Or be late.
It ain't worth your life or someone else's life. It's just one of them deals. Slow down and watch what you're doing.
And the old saying, turn around, don't drown.
There you go.
Don't go through that water.
Yeah, you don't need to be crossed.
It doesn't matter how big your truck is or, how good your tires are. Don't go through there. Don't risk a first responder's life because you wanted to drive through something.
It ain't about how deep. Usually it's how swift that water may be. You're thinking about the depth. You ain't thinking about what's coming down through there, or if that bridge is washed out, what might happen.
Right.
So
I think we need to keep in mind, too, that, although we're home safe and warm, all of our first responders are still out there in this snow and cold temperatures. And we need to just stop and say thank you to them every now and then because they're working hard to keep us safe. And that goes with county and state roads, too,
anybody that
thank
deals
you.
with the public and profession of trying to clear roads, put out house fires, work wrecks,
Right.
they've got a job. I mean, yeah, everyone's got a job to do more than likely, but that gets pretty tough on the person and the family.
Right. And it goes, for all the first responders. This morning, 5 a.m. on Pike Street, there were 2 police officers, keeping traffic from going out. They weren't sitting in their cars. They were out in the rain, getting wet, to see that the road crews.
Well, during those frigid temperatures, we had a fire down on Sunrise. I think it was Sunrise. The guys' clothes were froze.
Right.
I mean, they could just step out of their pants. You got to give them credits. They're volunteers, too.
Right.
Right.
Now, with the impending flood, you mentioned it, ReJeana, but you guys will come around if someone needs to be evacuated, knock on doors, so don't freak out, don't panic.
Don't call dispatch. Don't call the mayor's office, county judge. If there's going to be a flood, we'll let you know. Okay. And as of right now, we're seeing it on a few streets, but it's not going to be in any houses. If something changes, trust me, we'll come knock on your door and let you know.
And obey the road signs. If River Road is closed and there's a barrier there, don't go around.
They're there for a reason.
Right.
And Mayor, on your behalf, hang in there. Do us a good job. We know you will. We got faith in you, buddy.
Well, thanks a lot. It's actually been good. I decided to get all my emergencies out of the way in the first couple of months, so that the next 3 years will be.
You got a lot of learning to do. It's like us all, though. We learn every day.
That's right. I can't fix everything in the first month.
That's right.
Well, thanks for all you do, Kevin, with the state. Like you said, you talked about working together. It is a new day.
That's the key.
It is a new day. County, city, state, emergency responders. That's the attitude I think we all have now. We just want to make our community better. ReJeana, thank you so much for what you've done in emergency operation and all the other hats you wear. Again, as the weather temperatures drop, if you know of someone that's homeless or they need shelter, they can call dispatch.
234-7100. Not 911.
Right, not 911. We'll see they get in there. Now, the folks that you had, the homeless folks that you had in the shelter for a while, or have all those gone and found places to stay?
We had a couple that were living in a car. I don't know their situation. They came the last day of our shelter. so we really didn't have time to work with them. But for the most part, everybody is in a nice warm spot right now. So.
And I've talked to some folks. It's not just you're giving them a place to stay. And I got to commend Alex Barnett, our county judge. You want to get them back on their feet too, and you want to put them back in society and make them productive members of society and help. And that's the attitude that I think that if we all have in the community, our churches, our public workers, and just the average citizen, this can be a better community.
There's always someone that needs help.
Right.
Instead of standing with your hands in your pocket, if you see somebody struggling, lend them a hand. It don't matter if you know them or not.
Right.
It's not all about money. A blanket, a towel, hygiene products. That makes the world of difference to people.
Right. Well, thank you all very much for being on the program today. I'm sure the listeners appreciate all the updates, and just to know that we're in good hands with the coming weather. You're listening to Coffee Break Extra here on WCYN, 1400 AM. Tune in tomorrow at 9:15.
You've been listening to Coffee Break Extra on Genuine Country 1400 AM. Today's program has been brought to you by MCTC Licking Valley Center, your State Farm agent Mark Kamek, Woodman of the World, Ewald Jewelers on Main, and E.D. Bullard Company. We have 38 degrees and rain in downtown Cynthia. I invite you to stay tuned for news from the Fox Radio Network at the top of the hour. That'll be followed by the Leach Report here on Genuine Country 1400 AM. Stay tuned.
Today's country and yesterday's favorites on the station you grew up with. Genuine Country, 1400 WCYN, Cynthiana.